The donut has made an appearance in popular culture, particularly in the United States and Australia. Doughnut King is Australia's largest retailer of donuts. A Guinness Book of Records largest donut made up of 90,000 individual donuts was set in Sydney in 2007 as part of a celebration for the release of The Simpsons movie. Per capita, Canadians consume the most donuts, and Canada has the most donut stores per capita. Tim Hortons is the most popular Canadian donut and coffee franchise, and one of the most successful quick-service restaurants in the country. In the Second City television sketch comedy, The Great White North, featuring the fictional stereotypically Canadian brothers Bob and Doug Mackenzie, and in their film Strange Brew, donuts play a role in the duo's comedy. Within the United States, the Providence metropolitan area was cited as having the most donut shops per capita, 25.3 donut shops per 100,000 people, as of January 13, 2010. National Donut Day celebrates the Doughnut's history and role in popular culture. There is a race in Staunton, Illinois, featuring donuts, called the Tour de Doughnut. In film, the donut has inspired Dora's Dunkin' Donuts, 1933. The Donuts, 1963, and Tour de Doughnut, Gluttons for Punishment. In video games, the donut has appeared in games like The Simpsons Game and Donut Dilemma. In the cartoon Mucha Lucha, there are 4 things that make up the code of mask wrestling: honor, family, tradition, and donuts. Also, in the television sitcom The Simpsons, Homer Simpson's love affair with donuts is a prominent ongoing joke as well as the focal point of more than a few episodes. There is also a children's book Arnie the Donut and music albums The Donut in Granny's Greenhouse. In films, TV shows, and other popular culture references, police officers are associated with donuts, depicted as enjoying them during their coffee break or office hours. This cliché has been parodied in the film Police Academy 4. Citizens on Patrol, where Officer Zed is instructing new recruits how to, properly, consume their donuts with coffee. It is also parodied in the television series Twin Peaks, where the police station is always in large supply. In the video game Neuromancer, there is a Donut World shop, where only policemen are allowed. During a city-wide lockdown, after the Boston Marathon bombing, a handful of selected Dunkin' Donuts locations were ordered to remain open to serve police and first responders despite the closing of the vast majority of city businesses. Cops and Donuts, a donut shop in Clare, Michigan, is notable for being owned and operated by current and former members of the city's police force. A donut or donut is a type of food made from leavened fried dough. It is popular in many countries and is prepared in various forms as a sweet snack that can be homemade or purchased in bakeries, supermarkets, food stalls, and franchised specialty vendors. Donut is the traditional spelling, while donut is the simplified version. The terms are used interchangeably. Donuts are usually deep fried from a flour dough, but other types of batters can also be used. Various toppings and flavorings are used for different types, such as sugar, chocolate, or maple glazing. Donuts may also include water, leavening, eggs, milk, sugar, oil, shortening, and natural or artificial flavors. The 2 most common types are the ring donut and the filled donut, which is injected with fruit preserves, the jelly donut, cream, custard, or other sweet fillings. Small pieces of dough are sometimes cooked as donut holes. Once fried, donuts may be glazed with a sugar icing, spread with icing or chocolate, or topped with powdered sugar, cinnamon, sprinkles, or fruit. Other shapes include balls, flattened spheres, twists, and other forms. Donut varieties are also divided into cake, including the old-fashioned, and yeast-risen donuts. Donuts are often accompanied by coffee or milk. They are sold at donut shops, convenience stores, petrol gas stations, cafes, or fast food restaurants. Yeast donuts and cake donuts contain most of the same ingredients, however, their structural differences arise from the type of flour and leavening agent used. In cake donuts, cake flour is used, and the resulting donut is denser because cake flour has a relatively low gluten content of about 7 to 8%. In yeast donuts, a flour with a higher protein content of about 9 to 12% is used, resulting in a donut that is lighter and more airy. In addition, yeast donuts utilize yeast as a leavening agent. Specifically, yeast cells are thoroughly distributed throughout the dough and begin to feed on the sugar that is present. Carbon dioxide gas is generated, which raises the dough, making it light and porous. Whereas this process is biological, the leavening process in cake donuts is chemical. In cake donuts, the most common leavening agent is baking powder. Baking powder is essentially baking soda with acid added. Donuts are unhealthy, though some are less so than others. According to Prevention magazine, donuts made from enriched flour provide some thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, along with some fiber, but they are high in sugar and calories. Steps to improve the healthiness of donuts include removing trans fats. The cookbook Küchenmeisterei, Mastery of the Kitchen, published in Nuremberg in 1485, offers a recipe for Gefüllt sugar-free, stuffed, fried dough cakes. Dutch settlers brought oliekoek to New York, or New Amsterdam, in the early 18th century. These donuts closely resembled later ones but did not yet have their current ring shape. A recipe for fried dough, nuts, was published in 1750 England, under the title, How to Make Hertfordshire Cakes, Nuts and Pincushions, in the Country Housewife's Family Companion by William Ellis. A recipe labeled, Dough Nuts, again from Hertfordshire, was found in a book of recipes and domestic tips written around 1800, by the wife of Baron Thomas Dimsdale, the recipe being given to the Dowager Baroness by an acquaintance who transcribed for her the cooking instructions for a dough nut. The first cookbook using the near-conventional dough nuts spelling was possibly the 1803 edition of The Frugal Housewife, or Complete Woman Cook, which included dough nuts in an appendix of American recipes. The first known printed use of doughnut was in Peck's Bad Boy and His Pa by George W. Peck, published in 1900, in which a character is quoted as saying, Pa said he guessed he hadn't got much appetite, and he would just drink a cup of coffee and eat a doughnut. According to author John T. Edge, the alternative spelling, doughnut, was invented in the 1920s when the New York-based Display Doughnut Machine Corporation abbreviated the word to make it more pronounceable by the foreigners they hoped would buy their automated doughnut-making equipment. The doughnut spelling also showed up in a Los Angeles Times article dated August 10, 1929, in which Bailey Millard jokingly complains about the decline of spelling, and that he can't swallow the well done doughnut, nor the ever so good bread. The interchangeability of the two spellings can be found in a series of National Doughnut Week articles in the New York Times that covered the 1939 World's Fair. In 4 articles beginning October 9, 2 mention the doughnut spelling. Dunkin' Donuts, which was so named in 1950, following its 1948 founding under the name Open Kettle, Quincy, Massachusetts, is the oldest surviving company to use the doughnut variation. Other chains, such as the defunct Mayflower Doughnut Corporation, 1931, did not use that spelling. According to the Oxford Dictionary's while doughnut is used internationally, the spelling doughnut is American. The spelling doughnut remained rare until the 1950s, and has since grown significantly in popularity. This growth in use has possibly been influenced by the spread of Dunkin' Donuts. National Doughnut Day, also known as National Doughnut Day, celebrated in the United States of America, is on the first Friday of June each year, succeeding the Doughnut Day event created by the Salvation Army in 1938 to honor those of their members who served donuts to soldiers during World War I. About 250 Salvation Army volunteers went to France. Because of the difficulties of providing freshly baked goods from huts established in abandoned buildings near the front lines, the 2 Salvation Army volunteers, Ensign Margaret Sheldon and Adjutant Helen Purviance, came up with the idea of providing donuts. These are reported to have been an instant hit, and soon many soldiers were visiting the Salvation Army huts. Margaret Sheldon wrote of one busy day, "Today I made 22 pies, 300 donuts, 700 cups of coffee." Soon, the women who did this work became known by the servicemen as donut dollies. In the U.S., especially in Southern California, fresh donuts sold by the dozen at local donut shops are typically packaged in generic pink boxes. This phenomenon has been attributed to Ted Ngoy and Ning Yen, refugees of the Cambodian genocide who began to transform the local donut shop industry in 1976. They proved so adept at the business and in training fellow Chinese Cambodian refugees to follow suit that these local donut shops soon dominated native franchises such as Winchell's Donuts. Ngoy and Yen allegedly planned to purchase boxes of a lucky red color rather than the standard white, but settled on a leftover pink stock because of its lower cost. In the mid-1970s, pink donut boxes were already a common sight in the eastern and midwestern United States, due to the fact that Dunkin' Donuts used a solid pink color for its boxes at that time. It switched to a different box design sometime after 1975. But the chain did not begin to establish a major presence in California until the 2010s. Owing to the success of Ngoy and Yen's business, the color soon became a recognizable standard in California. Due to the locality of Hollywood, the pink boxes frequently appeared as film and television props and were thus transmitted into popular culture.